Starve your fat but not yourself is the ideal case scenario for anyone who's trying to lose weight. You maintain lean muscle all while getting rid of the fat from your body, which is of course going to make you unhealthy, cause metabolic syndrome, and even disease. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. Hey Wellness Warrior, I'm Dr. Nick Sarowski, and one of the things that we want to look at right away when we talk about starving fat off our body but not actually starving ourselves is intermittent fasting. And there's a reason for this, is because there was a study done, and what they looked at is what is the best time to fast to actually starve your fat cells. And interestingly, what they found is that in a 24-hour fast, this was going to be a time frame which actually helped you starve the fat cells on your body, which you're trying to get rid of, but also helped you preserve lean muscle. And what I mean by that is during this fasting time, what was found is that urea nitrogen actually started increasing in the body about 24 hours into the fast. And why is that significant? Well, it's significant because that is a byproduct of muscle breakdown. So as I mentioned earlier, one of the things we really want to do is maintain lean muscle mass. This is very important for us today. It's very important for us as we age. And so if we want the perfect fast that is just focusing on fat but not actually breaking down our body, it seems to be that 24-hour fast is an ideal scenario. But now that we're back on the topic of starving fat but not ourselves, there's a few other things to consider. First of all, how can we get the best results on that fast and starve the fat? But also, how can we, even when not fasting, continue that process of starving fat but not ourselves? Because we all want to eat good food and eat lots of it, but we want to make sure we're making the right choices. It brings us into our next topic, and that's really focusing on what our blood sugar is doing and what our insulin is doing. So as you know, when you are in a fasted state, one of the amazing things that happen with it is that it helps drop our blood sugar down. When you drop your blood sugar down, it automatically drops this hormone called insulin down. And this is really important because insulin is going to block fat loss if it's raised to a high level in the body. How do we raise insulin to a high level? Well, we eat lots of carbohydrates and sugar, and it's going to raise insulin up and it's going to block fat loss. But we want the opposite of that. So first tool is that we're going to use this fast to drop our blood sugar, drop our insulin, and allow us to start attacking some of that fat for energy. And how this works is that your body is probably burning sugar right now. But when you drop blood sugar and you drop your insulin levels, what will happen is it'll allow your body to actually start burning the fat on your body for energy. So let's talk about a few factors that's going to help with this process beyond fasting, because we already established that a 24-hour fast has been proven to help you burn fat but maintain lean muscle. So we know that that is like an ideal fast for someone who's trying to starve fat but not yourself. Hey, it's Dr. Z, and I want to help you improve your health naturally because true health only comes naturally. The best way to stay in contact with me is by joining my newsletter. Nobody cares about your health like I do. Click on the link below this video to join my newsletter and we'll stay connected for life. Now, first we have to make sure that we feed our body and not our fat. This is a really important topic. One of the things that I see so often is that some people who are dieting, they'll say, you know what, I watch so-and-so and they eat so much food. And you know what? They're constantly losing weight and they maintain a good figure all the time. Whereas it's like, I eat hardly anything and I gain fat. Well, a lot of times what you're going to see in this scenario is that the individual who is eating a ton of food, they happen to be eating really healthy food. They're eating proteins and vegetables and fruit, whereas the person who's saying, I'm hardly eating anything and I'm continuing to gain weight or I can't lose weight, well, they're drinking a soda, they're eating fried food, they're eating French fries and hamburgers and that sort of thing. So we have to make sure that when it comes to our diet and when it comes to actually feeding our body and not our fat, that we're actually giving our body what it needs. It needs the vegetables, it needs the micronutrients from the fruit, and then you need the good proteins. This is what our body needs, and then the healthy fat. So if you focus on a good whole food, healthy diet that's rich in protein and also fats in good, healthy whole foods, then you're going to find yourself in a position where you're feeding your body but not your fat. Once you start getting into consuming sodas and fried foods and fast foods, well, all of a sudden you're going to start feeding your fat but not your body. So therefore, we want to make sure that we're eating the right foods all the time. And the other thing that we have to really focus on doing is, well, burn sugar. We want to be burning the sugar out of our system. So here's what happens is our body likes to store sugar in the form of glycogen. And when you have this stored sugar, what happens is it's going to block fat loss. So therefore, we want to burn through a lot of that stored sugar so that you can find yourself in a position where you're burning that fat for energy. And also, whenever you're trying to get the best results with your fasting, what you're going to find is that when you eat a healthy diet and also you exercise to help burn through stored sugar, you're going to access that fat storage much quicker so that you can actually start burning fat for energy and lose weight, starving those fat cells. So whenever you're fasting, it's actually a great idea to continue to exercise, go for a nice 30-minute brisk walk, and walking is going to be a really good way to start burning that fat for energy, therefore starving the fat. So when you walk, when you exercise, you're burning fat, you're burning sugar. Now the next big factor that I want you to really focus on is don't overeat. This is something that's very important. And the fact of the matter is if you're eating good healthy foods like we talked about over here, you're going to be able to eat a lot of them and actually nourish your body correctly and feel fulfilled and satiated. Whereas if you're eating unhealthy foods, ones that are high in sugar, high in carbohydrates, you're not going to be able to eat as much of them and you're going to always be hungry and left with cravings. And so we want to always make sure we're eating those healthy foods to feel satisfied, but we also don't want to be eating too much. And this is where you may actually want to pay attention to how many calories you're eating. I'm not a big fan of tracking calories in the sense of watching them every day because it can be a little bit too much for the average person. It's a little bit overwhelming over time. However, it's always good to track your calories for a short period of time to truly understand how much your body needs as far as fuel goes. Because our bodies are an amazing machine. They're designed to actually go through periods of starvation. So that's why when you overeat, your body stores all of that energy that you're eating, that food, as fat. So if we don't want to put a bunch of food into fat storage, what we ultimately want to do is not overeat. So figure out how many calories you need throughout the day. You can go to like caloriecalculator.net. You can type in all the details and specifics of your body, figure out how many calories, and then make sure that you're not overeating. And if you want to even push the fat burning a little bit further, you can put yourself into a calorie deficit, consuming about 500 calories less per day than what is required of your body. That will actually help you lose weight. So these are the scenarios in which you would use to actually start starving your fat, but feeding your body appropriately. And this is going to be the strategy for losing weight today and losing weight 10 years from now and keeping it off. So go ahead and put in the comment section below if you have any questions. I'm Dr. Nick Zarowski, and if you like this video, I think you'll love this one next.